Hello and welcome to the Punters Guide. It's one of the big Saturdays of the summer. We've got the King George at Ascot. Betfred are sponsoring a race as well, the 450. We've got the Betfred handicap. It's a really good card at York as well. All live on ITV. I'm joined by ITV's Jason Weaver. King George Day is one of the big days in the summer we get excited about, Jason.
Absolutely. And they've got a sort of nice international flavour this time around. We've got the French coming over. Obviously, Aidan O'Brien with an incredibly strong hand. Slightly concerning that we've only got the 1 3-year-old with that massive weight for age allowance. But we have got one of them in there sort of representing the younger generation. It looks a cracker.
Right, we'll talk about the King George in detail in a moment, but let's go through the 4 live races from Ascot, first of all, live on ITV. And we start with the 150, the Princess Margaret Stakes.
Yeah, it's been for the fillies coming through. They're really starting to find their pecking order, if you like. I would imagine when you look down here, Simmering, because she ran such a good race in the Albany, she's going to be towards the top of the market. However, she would have been beaten miles had the winner got out earlier. And also, it was a bit of a Jamie Spencer special, wasn't it? Held up out the back of the pack and finished through. Look, Ryan is taking over. Ollie Sangster is going good, but she's going to be found in the market. I quite like the look of Mandura. The way she won on her debut at Newmarket, still a bit green in the run, on and off the bridle, levelled off late in the day to hit the line really, really strongly. And with the Simon and Ed Crisford team in much better form, I think at around about 4-5 to 1, she could be the answer for our opener.
Bit short, I'm afraid now. Jason Mandura is around about 7 to 2 with Simmering favourites at 6 to 4. Let's move on to the 225, the Valiant Stakes.
Yeah, well, you go in the Valiant. We've obviously got Thornbrook, who ran a good race in this last year. Wasn't beaten too far. That was slightly easier conditions. Update on the ground. Good to firm on the round course where these are going on the round mile. Now, Devoted Queen. She's been going through the grades perfectly, winning and bringing in that 100% record. But Friendly Soul for the John Gosden team, she looked as if she was a real superstar when winning the Pretty Polly. The French Oaks was mentioned rather than Epsom. They've obviously and ahed regarding the trip, and she ran up at York, was mightily disappointing. I'm willing to give her a bit of a pass, a free run if you like. She could easily bounce back to form, drop back down in trip. And can it finally be the part in the season where Kieran Schumacher has something go right? Because the daggers are out for him, aren't they? Nothing's been going right, and he needs to cement that relationship. So Friendly Soul to get the Gosden Schumacher axis back on track.
Right, the 3 o'clock, really competitive race. One of those races I love getting stuck into, a heritage handicap. Got extra places on this race as well. So the 3 o'clock is the Moët Chandon International Stakes. What's going to pay for the champagne then, Jason?
Yeah, well, listen, Ian Williams was in great form, and a lot of people will latch onto Alto, who's off the back of that Bunbury Cup win at the July meeting. But you've got to ask yourself, has he got another massive handicap in him after everything fell into his lap? There are 2 horses I like, and they're towards the top end of the market. So I'm hoping that they're able to carry the weight. They're also drawn down in the low numbers. So Make Me a King. He's going to be a massive each-way price. He was no more than a lamb to the slaughter when he was there as a pacemaker for his stablemate, English Oak, in the Buckingham Palace. Came out, bolted up at Newcastle the other day, won with any amount in hand, looking like he could be the class runner. And you've got to ask yourself, why has Orazio in 12 races so far never tried the 7 furlongs? Buick is up on board. He's won 2 of his 3 victories with Buick on top. He also rattled home in the Wokingham, suggesting that a step up in trip is going to suit him. I know they're drawn together. I would like one either side. But at the prices, Orazio, he'd probably be the shorter of the 2. Make Me a King. Looks like he's a big each-way player.
Certainly is. Orazio around about 11-2, Make Me King about 14-1, but we are 5 places each way on that race. And that builds up to the big one at 340, the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Kipco Stakes. One of the big races of the summer.
Absolutely, and with £700,000 up for grabs, you normally sort of associate Sir Michael Stout turning up here, and one of those that he's been gently with. Look, August Rodin, he's been in and out. Ryan Moore has defended him on numerous occasions. A Group 1 winner at 2, 3, and 4. He's got a wonderful profile. Dubai Honor probably needs to be respected at a huge each way price. He goes up in trip for the second time, but we've seen him at his absolute best with a good bit of dig in the ground. And then when you work your way down, I mean, Rebels Romance, he's unbeaten over here. And then when he's gone globe trotting, he's been up in Group 1 company. So he now tests himself against the best. But earlier on, Mark, we mentioned Sunway. He's no superstar 3-year-old like a Nashwan of yesteryear and rated up in the 120s, but he gets £11 weight for age. He ran a cracker in the Irish Derby, probably would have won had he got going earlier. And he is the one who I think they're going to forget about him. James Doyle gets the call up. He also looks like he's a bit of an each way price. So I'm trying to find one that I think will definitely hit the board, and Sunway fits that mold.
Interesting. Augustin Rodin, obviously, going to be the favourite and a short price favourite for the King George. Let's hop over to York and tell us about this 205, the Jump Jockeys Nunthorpe Handicap Stakes.
Yeah, the jumps lads are always telling us how good and how easy we've got it on the flat, haven't they? You know, the softy flat lads who are regularly going 5 furlongs in a straight line. They love this. They love to zip down here. The recently retired Tom Scudamore was brilliant in this particular contest, and Sam Twiston-Davies has come in for a good ride in Strong Johnson, but he appears to be backed in this every year that he comes back for it, and his York record is not that good. I think I might have found one down the bottom. Bayrat, who goes for the Tom Tate team, Neil Houlihan on board, dropped £3, no luck last time whatsoever, down the bottom of the handicap, and I just feel that he may well fly under the radar at a huge each way price.
Let's move on to the 240, which is the big dash, the handicap stakes over the 6 furlongs at York.
Yeah, we go up a furlong here for the dash. Some old favourites, Corker, Silky Wilkie. You know, they're 2 good horses. One's got a different profile. Corker gives it away at the gates. Silky Wilkie back in form at Hamilton last time, but has gone up a couple of pounds. Radio Gugu, he's been running really well, likely to go off on the front end. And Trefor, who managed to win really well at Windsor and then up at headquarters, will attract a lot of support. But there is a well-handicapped runner in here. It's Badri. He's not really hit his straps for the Camacho team, but he was a 5-time winner last year for Ruth Carr. He now finds himself dropped down to a very, very attractive mark. And he was a bit of an eye catcher last time at Ascot. Never got any daylight. Ryan Sexton on board. Badri, another each way price.
And then we've got a really good race at 3:15 from the Knavesmire, which is the York Stakes.
Yeah, up over the extended 1.25 miles. Some old favourites. Alf Layla's coming back here, bidding to win this back-to-back. King's Gambit down the bottom. You remember when he won the London Gold Cup, if you like, at Newbury. He then was all the rage. Were they going to supplement him for the Derby? They didn't, and he was a beaten favourite when we last saw him. So he's on a bit of a recovery mission. But that man we mentioned earlier, who's normally represented in the King George, he's there with Passenger, Sir Michael Stout. He does have to carry a £3 penalty, but he's looked a serious improver. You'll remember him from last year. He was unlucky in the Dante, wasn't he? So look, he's one of those with a good bit of course form. He comes from a top stable, and they've been super, super patient with him. Passenger could be the one. for the big one over the extended 1.25 miles.
So, Jason, you're going to be at Ascot, 4 races from Ascot, 3 races from York, live on ITV. Right, just before we finish, 2 questions for you. I want you to recap your selection for the King George and then give us your nap for Saturday, the 27th of July.
Well, I think that Sunway will go really well. He's the only 3-year-old in the lineup. And when you look at official ratings, 115 for him, but he gets 11-pound weight for age, which would drag him right into the mix. And he's out there slightly, just around about, double digits if he scrapes into around that mark. He looks a big each-way player with James Doyle taking the ride for the big one, the King George. And I'm really keen in the opener, Mandura. You mentioned she'd been backed, I think, into around about 7-2 now. The money for simmering, that's going to be obvious with Ryan Moore on board. But Mandura, she was impressive at Newmarket, and she could get us off to a flyer in the opener for the ITV cameras at 150.
Well, Jason, thanks very much. Make sure you put some sun cream on tomorrow, because I think we're going to have a bit of summer this weekend as well. And if you're having a bet, please gamble responsibly. It's what we're all about here at Betfred. Thanks so much, Jason Weaver. Be lucky this weekend.